Well, hi, Lydia. How's it going?
Hi, Sarah. I'm good. How are you today?
Doing awesome. So I'm so glad that we're here to visit again about all the numbers and what's happening in our world of forbearance and all that fun stuff.
Yes. So go ahead and get started. You had a quote from somebody that I thought was really good.
Definitely. And this is coming out because the CFPB has announced that they're going to be cracking down on mortgage servicers, making sure that they're really doing their role, their job within helping borrowers through their forbearance plan. And this is actually from Rick Sharga. He's the executive vice president of RealtyTrac. He's been a big deal in the industry for quite a while. He writes this, and I think this is really cool. I think the math speaks for itself. How well the forbearance program has worked. And it's one of the few times in my career that I have seen a government-initiated program adopted as well and executed as well by the industry as this one. So he's really saying, you know what? I don't think CFPB is going to find a whole lot of problems with the way forbearance has been rolled out across the country. So that's kudos to our servicers and our lenders out there for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, and then kind of going into it, and why we're talking about this is because the numbers do continue to improve. Now, we had some really big giant drops in our mortgage, our loans and forbearance for a couple weeks now. It was a little bit smaller this past week, but it's still going in the right direction. We're down to 4.49% of loans are in forbearance, which is down just from 4.5% last week. But that is a decline of about 5,000 borrowers. And
that's
so
great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so it's about 2.25 million borrowers that are in a forbearance plan. Just to talk about where they are in the stages, and this kind of reflects, and we'll talk about delinquencies, but this is reflective of what we're seeing with delinquencies is, 12.9% of the loans in forbearance are in their initial stage, and this is actually down from 13.1% last week. The big one is those loans that are on extension. That's 82.4% of the loans in forbearance are on extension. And that is, that's an increase from last week from 82.1%. More than 40% of the borrowers that are on extension have now been in their plan for over 12 months. And these are going to be the people that are going to be, they're going to only have about 6 more months at the top end unless they extend it again. So this is going to be a group that we're going to be really needing to have a conversation with as they come out of their forbearance plan. The remaining 4.7% are re-entries, and that's actually down from last week's 4.8%. And then as we look at kind of what are the situations of the people as they exit. So of the exits from June 1st through April 18th, we've seen there's about 47.3% of borrowers either continued making their payments, got caught up upon exit, or paid off their loan through a refinance or a sale. So that's, almost half that is really kind of in a really good situation. Now, the group that we really want to pay attention to is the 14.6% of borrowers that exit their plan with no loss mitigation in place and still behind on their payments. That number stayed flat week over week. But it's, these are the people that we really need to let them know what's going on, that they have options and that there's things, out there to help them so they don't need to struggle. And, I know we talk about forbearance. Now, if somebody is behind on their payments in forbearance, they are also going to be counted in those delinquency numbers. So this is huge, the national delinquency rate dropped in March by 16.4%. That's huge. That's like 500,000 borrowers.
Yeah.
March tends to be the month that a lot of people do kind of got paid up. And I think a lot of it, they say, is tax refunds and other things that are happening in March as people then get out of some of the debt that they're in. Now, so our total delinquency is about 5.02% of borrowers. The new numbers that are coming in, they're not as bad, but it's the group that's 90 days plus delinquent. That's the one that's still hurting. We're over 5 times where they were at the start of the pandemic, which is about 1.5 million borrowers. So that's a serious number. And that's, again, they're going to need to know that they have options. One of those options that could be, could work for them is something that was announced this morning is that FHFA has a new refinance program for low income borrowers. So I'm going to kind of read the qualifications just because I don't want to mess anything up. But to qualify for this option, beyond owning a GSE-backed mortgage, a borrower must have an income at or below 80% of the area's median income and have been current on their payments for the last 6 months with no more than one missed payment in the last 12 months. Borrowers must also not have a mortgage with a loan to value ratio greater than 97% and a debt to income ratio that is no higher than 65%. Also, the borrowers must have a FICO score of nothing lower than 620. The whole idea behind this is to actually drop their payment or drop the interest rate by like 0.5%. So we're talking, they're thinking the borrowers will save $100 to $250 per month on their loans, and that's a significant savings.
That's huge.
Life of the loan. So that could be another great option. And I know we're always looking at options, and Lydia and I are always talking about them. So Lydia,
always
tell us more about what's
trying to help. Yes. So on my end of it, with the servicing side of things, we've been consistent with inspections and BPOs. The iBuyers that are here are also using the servicing company as well to do inspections for them also. And our company did pick up another local iBuyer. So, which means that they are testing Arizona for some, to purchase some of those homes and to see if it works. And so just for people to be aware that there are iBuyers out there. And for those that don't know what an iBuyer is they're basically big companies that buy properties and they fix and flip them up. So they look for people with usually higher equity, and then they give them a portion of that equity, and then they turn around and sell it themselves because they have to have some equity too. So when it comes to that, the national numbers for equity are about 17 to 18%. Here in Arizona, we're a little bit higher, so we're closer to that 20%.
Just year-over-year gains.
Yes. So what we really want people to know is that if you are in a forbearance and you are having an issue, say you're one of those, that 14 to 16% that is having problems getting caught up, or you got out of that forbearance without an exit strategy, that's really, really important that they need to talk to someone from the servicing or from the bank to say, what are my options? I want to be able to get out of this forbearance and I want to know what my options are. And that's where that little group right there is the one that we're concerned about. Yes. So there is appreciation right now, especially here in Arizona, nationally as well. But if you are in a forbearance, one option would be to sell the home, take the equity, and regroup and think about what you want to do and get back into as a buyer later on. So, it's good to know that we have equity right now because, the last time all this happened 10, 12 years ago, we had no equity. And that's why we did all these short sales. So people need to know that there is money there, that it's sitting there, and it doesn't mean they have to sell. It's just one of many options. I would say talk to your professional realtor or lender, or definitely the servicing company. You don't want to leave them out because they're the ones that are going to give you which options that they will take. So, but get some advice, talk to an attorney, a realtor, or a lender, and see what option is going to be best for you. So, so that's, really what you started out with talking with the CFPB. They've done a really good job of doing these forbearances and people working together. Yes. We just have to keep it going so that we don't fall apart, because that's the last thing we want is for people to lose their home. You and I are in the home business of home ownership, and that we want to keep people in their home. So so definitely be very vigilant. Get some advice. Educate yourself on what your options are, and that's really the best thing to do.
I completely agree.
Well, that's
Awesome.
all I've got, Sarah.
Thanks, Lydia. And if anybody ever has any questions on any of the content that we're covering, let us know. We can add additional information or research any kind of aspect to it. So we always appreciate our viewers, and Lydia, so much for thank you for your time, and we'll talk again next week.
Okay, see you then. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.